right, here we go. Ready, 3, 2, 1. Hey, Justin Surrency here, Channel 13 News, just fresh off of work. Gotta come around the neighborhood here near the Drake neighborhood, Kingman, and figure out more about this Drew Mayfield character, man. He's always got something new, creative, and fun in his front yard. Works for Land Matters. He's the owner there. So I want to find more about him, and I heard he's got a big project coming up at the Des Moines Home and Garden Show. Let's talk to Drew a little bit. What's up, man?
Hey, thank you.
How you doing?
So much for stopping by.
Yeah, man. You're always busy out here. Figured I'd check out. You got projects coming out in the front yard. What do you got coming up?
Oh man, the Home and Garden Show. This is like, I think probably the 4th or 5th year that I've done this.
Yeah.
And the feature gardens, you know, the big display gardens.
Yeah, inside, make it feel real tropical.
Yeah.
Turning that page towards spring, man. It's February. We want to
Yes.
think about warmer times.
Let me show you what's up.
Now let's check it out.
So, you know, the spring is in the air, right?
Definitely.
Spring is in the air. Like, you can see it start to come together. Octavio's working on the finishing touches for this picnic table. That sits underneath.
Beautiful.
This sits underneath the pergola. There's going to be these fence panels that, you know, they're really there to show like custom craftsmanship. Where an average person, if they order a fence, what do they get? Like they get that. You know, these
Sure.
treated pickets.
What we're used to seeing.
And yeah, exactly what you're seeing. It's the same rubber stamp everywhere. But check this out. Like, what we did on these panels was made custom cedar arrangement. We actually burnt them with a fire, and then we stained over top of that after scrubbing them down. These pieces are little frames that are gonna go around my signs, but you know, it's all just parts and pieces so that like it's tied together.
You can see some time and love put into it.
Exactly. A lot of time and love.
Yeah.
Which if you look anywhere, you'll find that. Like this mound in my front yard, this like pile.
Sure.
This is a pile of soil that's like native plants. And when I got the home, there was this beautiful oval in the center, but it wasn't so beautiful anymore. It was like weeds, and it was just a bunch of plants that hadn't been taken care of. And so I brought my equipment in here and I scraped it up and I pushed it into a pile. And then I covered it with new fresh soil, and then I covered it with native plants. So rather than taking any of it away, I just built on top of what was already there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
And then it gives me some privacy from the road. And then you can see this little circle that goes, and Eric, you can just stick with me. We'll clip in and out. Like if you look at the tree and behind this edge, and then there's these two little rocks that you pass through, that's a circle made out of a radius. Where's that radius come from? Take a look.
Wow.
At the nose of that statue. So like there's a center point there, and that's what creates the space.
So it all ties in.
It all ties in. All right. So that's like love and care. What we're working on is the cedar and the pergola stuff. What else do you want to know?
Well, definitely want to know about the name, Land Matters. There's some significance to that.
Yeah, for sure. Let's check it out. Okay, question is.
Sweet. Yeah, so Drew, you got a company named Land Matters. Now, that's not just a name out there to put on a sign. It actually has some meaning. What does that mean, Land Matters?
Oh, wow. You asked me a big one. Land matters by itself is somewhat evident in the name, Land Matters.
Sure.
Like, where would we be if we didn't have the land to live on? We would just, what would we do if we didn't have this planet?
Right.
Which you can have your side of the fence on whether we're ruining it or not, but we're living here. And just like, we might as well be living here in the best way.
Sure.
So let's treat it like it matters. So land matters. But the website is actually why land matters. And so then you got to ask the question, why? Why does land matter? Beyond just like living here. Because it's not just us that live here. We have like co-inhabitants. We have the bugs and the birds and the bees and the animals and what else? Who else do we live here with? Our neighbors, like you.
That's right. Right down the road.
Yeah, so like what I do here makes a difference for you.
I appreciate that.
And what I do at your place and what you do makes a difference for me. And I think too many times we take that for granted. Like what I do doesn't matter. And that's really hard for me to chew on a lot of times because it just gives people a permission slip to not care. And I'm just somebody who cares so deeply that I'm gonna do the best I can all across the board, even when it's messy and even when I'm working in my front yard, that like what I stand for, what I do, what I create makes a difference. So I'll give you an example. Like this piece of wood it was a walnut tree in my backyard, and it was already starting to kind of go bad, and I wanted to build a garage someday. So I took that walnut tree down and I took it to the sawmill and I made parts and pieces out of it.
Wow.
I made this sign, I made these pieces for this picnic table, which was like a thing with my grandma. I'm now making like custom furniture for one of the sweetest women in my life that has helped me a ton, Rita. Like, she's got this beautiful she had this beautiful shelving in her house, and I'm like, it looks good, but it's particle board. You know, what would it be like if that had like real wood on it?
Yeah, substantial.
And so we took off the particle board, and then I give that wood from the sawmill to my guy Matt Roberts, the Greener Tree Care. And Matt's a guy that, like, yeah, he cuts down trees, but his first goal isn't just to cut down as many trees as he possibly can. Matt will like assess the tree and see what can be done to make it healthy. Matt will like decide whether it can get treatments or pruning, or whether it has to come down. And then if it does come down, where does that material go? Can we use and harvest the wood? Can we take the wood chips and bring them to me for I make compost? So like, I'm giving this shelving to Matt from the walnut tree from my backyard to give to Rita, so that it's not just particle board in people's houses. That's an example. Why do I do that? This is the insight. I want to show you something. So like, rainwater hits the house, falls down the gutters, right? And it goes down the rain chain, but where does it land? It lands in these little rock circle. To me, this represents, do you remember the Lorax, Justin?
Yes, I do.
I think it should be mandatory reading for every little kid. Like, the whole story of the Lorax and the Onceler, and like, you know, the last of the truffle of trees all getting chopped down. So like, unless somebody like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's gonna get better. Yeah. It's not.
No change.
So this is me caring about every little decision. Like, this is an example of that. I don't know, I got my foot on this rock. I'll say one more thing about that. It's like, I look for, you know, pieces of material that aren't just cookie cutter and rubber stamped, and like, well, if I'm an average landscaper, I know I can just buy these blocks and they're this size and I put them in on repeat, because then I know I can like get my crew there and my crew knows what to do and I put it in. But I'm like the guy that will like look for rocks that are amazing and have a story behind them. It's like, what happened here with water that made this?
Sure.
And then to show that to a child, and to have them see
the meaning behind
it.
Years, decades, centuries ago, water traveled and was able to cut through stone after time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I could point every direction at stuff. Like, one of my buddies who likes growing food, he put this in. It looks like a weed to some people. It's a sugar cane. He just tried it out and he put it here, and now it's here. And we'll see what, you know, we'll see where the birds and the bees take these next. And I'll find a sugar cane like somewhere else.
Yeah. It's all,
there you go,
leaving things better than you found them.
Exactly.
So got a big weekend coming up. A lot of different businesses, a lot of different communities at this lawn and garden show, home garden show. When they meet you, talk about Land Matters, why do you hope that they leave impacted by you and maybe hire you to work on their home instead of anybody else?
Oh, okay. Well, you know, you can't help everybody, but I would love to. Yeah. Like, I would love to help every single person that comes through that place. And you know, I know that if somebody comes to me and they want a certain kind of project, like, I might recommend them to my other friends, because I know those guys. Like, we work together. And I'll be like, go work for, you know, go check out Colby and go check out Sam at Etch. And these people might really align with what your thing is. If they get the vibe from my booth that they want to work with me, what they would be seeing would be some of that deep embedded meaning and like the material reuse and natural materials. What I would want them to get is what, like, be left with something that's way better than what they ever expected. Like, they could have just gotten the thing that they wanted. I want a new driveway, or I want a new garage, or I want a new porch, or I want a new retaining wall. But if they come to me, I want them to be like, well, we asked for a retaining wall, and we got an art piece that when people drive by our street, they're like, your house is amazing, you know, and it doesn't look the same as everybody else's. I want them to be left with, like, the tagline, artfully integrating people in the environment. I want them to be, like, proud of their place that they've taken care of. They're the stewards. They're the ones taking care of the land. So it should be artistic and catch people's eye, and it should, like, serve what they need. They get the retaining wall, but it's artistic, and it also is good for the environment. Like, it's got the right materials, it has the right impact, it's going to last for a long time. So
it's memorable, something to be proud of,
very
and
much.
not just okay, this problem's fixed.
Yeah.
We have a retaining wall. This is something I'm proud of. Showing it off, showing that driveway off, showing that patio off, that table, because you not only needed one, but now you want to celebrate it
with the people you love.
Yeah.
So when your neighbors come and your family comes, they're like, wow. Like I'll probably always remember Brad and Laura Crowell. I did a project with them, and we had this little area in their woods, and they knew it was cool, and I knew it was cool. I was left speechless the first time I saw it. I was like, this is amazing. But then to be able to take something like that and make it even more amazing, like we made a stargazing area out of it, and I shaped the earth in such a way that you could lay back, kind of like that mound, lay back and look up at the stars and have a fire. And they brought their like sister out there, and they said when we came out here, she walked in and she saw it and she came into tears.
Wow.
And it was like no joke. She was like, wow, you know. And that's what I want people to have. Like wow, exceptional experiences. So let's do your yard.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I got some work. I got some ideas.
Last question, and then we're out of here, is the Octavio thing.
Yeah.
So we're going to go off the cuff.
Well, Drew, you make a lot of great products. You make a lot of customers, neighborhoods happy with your work, but you can't do it alone, right? You got a solid group behind you. You got co-workers as well, some people on your staff. How did you meet Octavio?
Oh man. Well, Octavio is actually not staff anymore. It's just like one of the ways that I work with guys is try to have an impact, and whatever that impact is different for everyone. But Octavio and I, you know, we met at the beginning of my career, early on, maybe the first 3 or 4 years. And I was like walking into Fernando's. You remember on University where Fernando's is? And I got a shop local. So like walking into Fernando's to get tacos, and I go up to the register, and there's this kid working at the register.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, do you happen to know any like friends or family that, you know, and I'm thinking, because he's a Hispanic dude, like these Hispanic guys are good workers, like, is there anybody that would want to landscape? And he goes, well, I've been thinking about it. And I was like, all right.
Kind of crazy how things work. Yeah.
So then I had to be like, well, wait a minute. You work for your dad at your dad's shop. Fernando is his dad. So then I'm like, oh no, his dad's gonna hate me because I'm taking his worker away, you know. But from there, I would ask him to share, like, what was it like working for LANDMATTERS? What was it like? You know, what are some of your memories, and like, what are you doing now?
So working with LANDMATTERS, I mean, it was a journey. I mean, we did a lot of things, and I loved it just because, you know, you come to work and you can work with people knowing they love what they're doing, and it kind of rubs off on you, you know. And you're always doing something different. You're not stuck in an office, you know, doing the same thing over and over. And I mean, it would kind of challenge you because, I mean, like I said, you're doing something different at a time. So it's not like you could have a repetitive like action and know like, oh, I'm gonna put this here and just do that every single day. It's always something different, always challenging, you know. And
well, like, what are some of your memories, like specifically what stuff that you did work on?
memories,
you know?
specifically.
What challenged you?
What challenged me? Well, like I said, just doing something different. It's always something new. You're never doing the same thing. So you're always trying to learn new things and always on the fly. And you know, there's always times where you didn't know what you were doing, so we were learning together, and that was always awesome. And yeah, and I mean, I got to see a lot of people come and go, and learn a lot of things from those people too.
Including you, come and go.
Yeah.
So you know, at one point after we've been together for 3 years, you were like ready for a new experience, and I was like, all right, great. I'm sad to see him go, but I'm also excited about it. And so one of his buddies invited you to work at Mackinac, and so now he's working on heavy equipment. But this is the kid that, like, when he was first on a little MT85, you know, trying to figure out how to dig a hole, I'm like, bro, come on, like, we gotta get you some practice, like. And now he's driving, you know, bulldozers and excavators, and then what I love is that now when we come back, it's not just, oh, he took another job, see you later. Some guys do that. They got whatever they go off to. But I love keeping in touch with guys. So now I'm doing a dirt business, and I have dump trucks of dirt showing up one day, and there's a bulldozer on site that is owned by another company because they're bringing the soil. And Octavio is there, and he's like, I know how to drive that thing. And I'm like, all right, show me, you know, which the owner of the company was like, yeah, go ahead, use it. But, you know, he's the one teaching me how to push the pedals and the joysticks on the Cat D5, you know, what was it, D6 or D8, a big machine, D6. Like, so now I'm driving bulldozers because of him, and I was, you know, that stuff's awesome. And then like he's laid off in the wintertime, and so it's right before he goes back to work in the spring, and we got the home show coming up, and I'm like, Octavio, come help with the setup, you know, and he's burning fences and he's making tables, and not only that, but you know, organizing the tools and the trailer, and like there was something else I was going to mention that was like kind of a really cool thing that you're actually doing. Oh, like over the years I got friends in different companies, you know, like Ryan Rally Cap and Calvin, guys that flip houses and just make them nice. And so, you know, we just keep guys like that working throughout the year, and we've torn down walls together and taken out trash to dumpsters, and so it's a whole different type of relationship than the average, you know, 9 to 5 like that. Some people want that, they expect it, but I don't. To be honest with you, I don't want nothing to do with it. I want people to have meaningful relationships that challenge them and push them in ways that they're not necessarily even comfortable with, that they may not understand and appreciate until years later, until they see it come together, or they're in those situations and they're like, man, I was prepared for that because of this. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and I used to call him the head of HR. So
Yeah.
whenever he would come back, we'd have like staff meetings and stuff, and I'd invite Octavio to sit in. I have it ingrained of Octavio. I'm gonna start over. So in the past, like, I would have staff meetings and I'd have previous employees drop in. No joke. Like me at a table with people at a coffee shop, and Octavio shows up with his daughter Nyla, and I'm like, here's a chocolate milk for her, you know, and sit in with us and comment on what these guys are up
Build
for
a
the
family,
year.
you know, just with that work and that rapport.
Yeah. Thanks, bro.
Of course, thank you.
You're welcome.
You taught me a lot.
Yeah. Take it forward. That's all we can ask. Yeah.
Excellent, man. Great to chat with you, catch up. Great to meet you, Octavio, man.
Nice to meet you.
And good luck at the Home and Garden Show in Des Moines next weekend. And Land Matters is going to be there. Stop on in, give Drew a chat, and have some fun. Maybe end up getting
Come
home
sit
and
at the
garden
table.
or your dreams. Check it out. What he can do. It's a lot of fun. And like you said, it doesn't just give you what you need as a fix, but turns into a piece of a lifetime. It creates a lot of memories, and not only with what he makes, but with his workers as well. People that move on. Octavio is inspiring other people thanks to the opportunities that you allowed for others along the way. And it's definitely been paid forward throughout people, person to person, and throughout the neighborhood, from yard to yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
You're so welcome. All right, I just thought of one that'll be the fastest, and we're out of here. So would you sit with us or stand close, and it's just Justin and I, and the last question would be,
Yeah.
and seriously, thank you.
Yeah, no
Like
problem.
all the way.
That's great.
Justin, it's been incredible sitting with you.
Yeah, it's been
You know,
fun.
I've been driving past your house for years and thinking about you, and we've never had a chance to meet until
Right.
today. Today's the first day.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of love for you. I can see it in you. I can see it on you. You know,
Yeah, that's
your
right.
tie.
You got the tie, spreading that love.
We're both just filled with love.
Yeah, it's awesome. You have a lot of love for your work, and a lot of people may see that at the show over that weekend. But they'll be shopping around a little bit. You want to find the right price, the right person to work with, who can collaborate. But how do you make sure that they kind of choose you throughout this type of interview process?
Oh man. Well, I'll keep it simple, right? There's like the whole triangle about if you're choosing a contractor, you can either get fast or cheap or good. And I believe in that. But it changes. I'm not always the fastest. I'm not always the slowest. I'm not always the cheapest. Sometimes I do projects for drastically less than other companies would do them for. So people look at my work and think that it's expensive. Well, I've actually done stuff for pennies or well under because of the type of person that they are and what they're up to. Or I've done things really fast, or I've done things, you get the idea. And it's not just about that I want people to choose me. I want them to choose me if they feel aligned, but it's gonna work itself out because I'm actually choosing them as well. I have, no joke, walked away from $300,000, $400,000 projects because the guy said, oh, I've spent, you know, $2 million on this house and I'm getting a little strapped on what I want to do. And even though he likes the ideas that I'm offering, and I could have phased it out or whatever, but the way he was being and acting in those meetings, like, he was stressed out about the house, he was worried about how all that was going, he was thinking about the landscape, and he wanted to have a good landscape, but I could tell that it was going to be a painful process if I stepped into it. And there's part of me that wishes I would have done it, because I look at it now and I know who did his project, and I'm like, man, I wish I would have done it for you. But I walked away from that project because it didn't feel like a good fit. You know, I made the choice, like, I'm not available if you're not fully available to have the most amazing project. Even if we scale it back and do different parts and pieces, I want somebody who's going to value it.
You want to feel valued. Both sides want to feel valued. The customer, the ownership, the people that are applying that work, that labor, a mutual relationship. It's just like, you know, relationships in real life. The worker and employee, the worker and customer. So that makes sense. That's a good way to put it.
So if they choose me, then it's meant to be, and if they choose someone else, then I'm all about it. I just hope that they get what they need. All right, bye-bye.
Cool, man. Nice meeting you.
You too. It's not screwed together yet. You're good. It's totally good. Wow, Justin, thank you so much for popping over and meeting me. I've known you've been my neighbor for a long time. I know what you do in the community and how you represent the Des Moines love so well. I hope this gives people an idea of what it's like to come and visit us at the Home and Garden Expo, and that they want to come take a spot and sit with me at the picnic table. I can't wait to see y'all. Here are a couple of great photos of us putting the project together. Really, we can't wait to see you. Putting bricks underneath the pergola starting to go down. Octavia, which way is the nubs face? That way. Oscar, what are nubs? What are nubs? I don't either. They're cool though.
I like that word though.
Nubs is nice.
Like that?
You got it. Videoed by me, doesn't he?
Evan, this one's for you, buddy.
Keep it up, dog.
Octavio's got the special goods. He's gonna make a water feature, a little bird bath that you can take home to Nyla,
I'm gonna swim in it.
and you're gonna teach her how to water the birds and the butterflies. Excuse me, what's going on here?